Hello everyone, it's Matt Pierce and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the Mk6 Jetta that I have created in Automation. Automation is a pretty cool game. It lets you design engines and cars, and then you can actually import those cars that you build into BeamNG Drive, which is a simulation driving game, and actually drive them around. So I'm just going to be showing you guys the Mk6 Jetta that I created today, and I will also provide download links down in the description below for all of these Jettas if you want to download them and put them in your BeamNG Drive. So I made 3 versions. I made a stock Jetta, a tuned Jetta, and a turbo Jetta. All of these Jettas are 5-speed manuals with the correct gear ratios. Essentially, these are recreations as accurate as I could make them. Here's the car designer view. I tried my best with the Volkswagen logo. That's easily the hardest part. It doesn't look that great, but it's the best I could do. The headlights are all right, but yeah, the body shape is probably the most accurate thing. But yeah, it's a 5-cylinder 2.5 engine, makes about 170 horsepower. The tuned one makes about 200 horsepower, and the turbo one makes around 300 horsepower at 11 psi. So yeah, things are pretty accurate. Let's go take these cars for a drive in BeamNG Drive. Alright, so here's the stock Jetta in BeamNG Drive. Sounds pretty good when you rev it up. There are pops and bangs just because I wanted to try to make the most horsepower I could out of this thing to make sure that the horsepower figures were accurate for the simulation. And it looks as similar as it really gets for recreating cars in Automation. But yeah, let's take this thing for a quick little rip around and then we'll swap into the tuned one. So, it does not have much power, obviously. I mean, it's just a stock 2011 Jetta. Now, my friend actually has one of these cars with the 5-speed manual and the 5-cylinder, and he's going to get it tuned soon. So I thought, you know what, why not recreate this car in Automation. This one also has like stock-ish suspension, torsion beam in the rear, just like the real one has, open diff, and again, the gearing is also correct. But yeah, I mean, it drives pretty decently. Obviously, if you floor it, you will get moving, as you would with any car, pretty much. But it's not that fun to drive, just probably because of the suspension mainly, and yeah. The bad suspension will leave you wrapped around trees. Alright, let's go ahead and swap into the tuned Jetta. Now, this Jetta also has a little bit of an exhaust on it, as you can hear. This Jetta also has a stiffer, sportier suspension than the stock one. And it has blacked out badges, as you can see, in the front and the back there, and a single exhaust, like my friend has. And it also has black rims. And of course the engine's tuned to make 198 horsepower. Now I don't know whether or not BeamNG Drive's horsepower figures are to the crank or to the wheels or whatever. I just went with what I feel like is pretty safe. The quarter-mile figures are actually pretty reasonable. Alright, so taking this one for a drive. This one definitely sounds a lot better, you know, it's got a more raw sound because it does have the exhaust on it. It takes corners a little bit better with the stiffer suspension. So yeah, the tune definitely makes this thing a little bit faster. About a whole second faster in the quarter mile, in fact. It's a lot more composed when you're actually driving it around corners. Oh, and I forgot to add that the red line is increased for the stock one, just like if you actually got your Jetta tuned, all the way up to 6,800 RPM. Alright, now I'm moving on to the turbo Jetta, and this one's obviously going to be the most fun. This one has the lowest and stiffest suspension of all of them. It has wider tires. It has lightweight wheels there, and as you can see, they are RPF1s or RPF1 lookalikes for the game. It's got the same blacked out badges as the tuned Jetta has, and it's got a little bit of a wider stance. It's got like wheel spacers, if you will, on there. This one's also louder, and we will also turn off traction control for this one. So setting off on this one, you'll notice it has a lot more power and a lot more torque, of course. And this one will also light second up. This one also has a limited slip differential, which is, I mean, at this horsepower level is probably a pretty good idea, especially in a Jetta. Still has the torsion beam rear. At least it transfers weight faster, right? So yeah, this one definitely gets moving a lot quicker, and it makes really good turbo noises. And it goes up to 11 psi, which is like the maximum amount of psi you can kind of run on these stock 2.5 inline 5 Jetta motors. But they definitely make a lot of power, and that's 300 of the wheels. But yeah, this one's definitely the one that you're going to be driving a lot more. It's the most fun of them. It definitely drives the best, handles the best, and it's definitely the fastest. And you can really get moving here on the mountain roads, and also, yeah, crash. And I also forgot to mention that this Jetta has disc brakes in the rear and bigger brakes up front, so it's kind of got like a brake kit. But yeah, as you can see, it just smokes through first and right through second as well. Now to finish this video off, we're going to do a drag race between the Jettas. So we're going to race the stock Jetta versus the tuned one first. And you guys can see the difference between a tuned Mark 6 Jetta with the 5-cylinder versus a stock one. We're also going to be basically flat foot shifting this. And there you go, there's the difference. I actually did pretty good in that stock Jetta for that one. I was really ripping it. I bet that guy lets off when he shifts. As you can see, the stock Jetta, flat foot shifting, I ran a 15.4. Normally they run like in the 16s. If I let off in between my shifts, I'd definitely be running in the 16s as well. But that guy ran a 15 flat. Alright, now we are going to run the tuned Jetta versus the turbo Jetta and see how much faster the turbo Jetta is. That was a pretty bad launch from me. Alright, well I still ran faster than the other guy, but the turbo Jetta ran a 13.6 and the tuned Jetta ran a 14.8, so not bad from either party, honestly. I did have a bad launch there. But as far as BeamNG Drive mods go, I think I've done a pretty good job here recreating the Mark 6 Jetta in automation and BeamNG Drive. Again, there's download links in the description if you want to download these mods and play around with them, and let me know what you think down in the comments below. Personally, the Turbo Jetta is definitely my favorite. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video.